And he'll break down the rules for us. Yes, we in the building, family. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for all the applause. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. You're so gracious, Moorish World TV citizens. You're so gracious to be. Anyway, family, press 7 if you can hear me. I want to make sure you can hear me real good before we get started. And share this. Share this, family. Can you hear me? Press 7 if you can hear me. I'm gonna wait for the. I see a 7 up. I know somebody can press 7 in there. Make sure y'all hear me, and we're gonna get this started. Can't nobody press 7 in there? Demetrius, you can't press 7 in there? Oh, there that click again.
Go that click again.
Oh man, here we go. I don't know how this and is it still there? I'm trying to figure out why that it just was gone, but then it comes back.
Yeah, I had muted myself again. I don't know why.
Yeah, I know, but it's something to do with your connection on that end. Let me see. Let me mute you.
I'm gonna try it one more time. I'm gonna leave and come right back. I'm gonna try it.
All right. What about your other phone? I see you got 2 phones, one for the and one for the load. It's not, fam. I'm trying to make sure he get his phone right because he got it seemed like it was flowing all right, but it ain't gonna be nice, you know what I mean, if he keep having clicks coming through his side of his phone. Oh yeah, we about to get busy. We about to get busy, family. So the let me get the flyer. Let me throw the flyer up here real quick. The thing is, what is the Moorish Science Temple of America? And what are the practices of the members or the Moorish American Muslim? This is gonna be a good one. This is gonna be. I think y'all will appreciate this. You know, I'm always trying to express my understanding of what the Moorish Science Temple of America is. So, it's good to have a brother in here to express his understanding. So all right, we back again. Let's see what we got this time. What we got? I don't hear no click again. Come on, let's get it.
Islam.
So Islam family, this is Brother Sheikh Asar Sadiel. Our conversation comes from the same post where me and the other brother had a conversation from, where I said something to the effect that scholarly leaders of the Moorish Science Temple of America do not want to have a respectable conversation, et cetera, et cetera. So my brother Sheikh Asar Sadiel steps up to the plate and say, I have a conversation. In fact, we had many conversations offline anyway, so it's good for us to have a conversation online. And I invite any and everybody who wish to have a conversation. I just say, just know if I ever get passionate, just put up your hand and say Islam more. Know that I'm your brother and know that we all seeking the truth. But in seeking this truth and in expressing this truth, I can get passionate sometimes, but I will never call anybody out their name. I will not disrespect you. I will not cross any line that you feel that is a line that shouldn't be crossed. If you say Islam, peace be still, and it is what it is. But with that being said, the conversation of tonight is, what is Moorish science? As everybody know, there is so many different factions of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I choose to call it ministrations of the Moorish Science Temple of America, that sometimes it can be confusing to the public as to what is the Moorish Science Temple of America. So I think this is a well needed conversation. What is the Moorish Science Temple of America? And the follow-up of that question, what are the practices of the Moorish American Muslim? Now, in the title, I say, what are the practices of the members? Because obviously I couldn't fit all of that in the title, but the actual title is, what is the Moorish Science Temple of America, and what is the practices of the Moorish American Muslim? And again, as we see all of these different variations of understanding of online, I think this is a good conversation, and it should be a continued conversation so people can hear what people under our members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, former, present, and in the future, they will be able to unfold and understand what it is to be the Moorish Science Temple of America and the Moorish Science Temple of America, et cetera, et cetera. Enough for that. Let's get started. I'm going to allow my brother Sheikh Asar Sadiel introduce himself, and then he'll yield the floor to Brother Montezuma Bey at Gap. of the Moorish Science Temple of America, affectionately known as the Noble Temples, and he will give us the rules, and then he'll take it from there. Islam.
Islam. First, I would like to thank Grand Sheikh Taharka Bey for allowing me to be on this platform and have this Moorish Islamic
Yeah,
intellectual
yeah.
dialogue.
Your sound is acting up. One more time. It sounds like static radio when you talk. But
Can
let's
you
see if
let's see if all right, can y'all hear it now that y'all muted? I don't hear it now. It sounds good now. Yeah, mic check. It's not me. I don't hear it at all now.
yeah. Every time you talk, we hear it. Is it staticky to you when you hear it? Montezuma Bay.
All right, try to. All right, let's try this, Grand Sheik. Can you mute it? Right? If you mute it, can you do a thumbs up? All right. Do y'all if y'all hear static right now? Y'all hit thumbs up. Y'all hear static? I don't know why it's like this.
Maybe try taking the Wi-Fi off.
All right, yeah. Let me try that. Let me try that. Give me one more second. Let me try it one more time. Let me try that. The Wi-Fi. Hold on.
I think you muted, brother.
I just see my brother Cryptonomics in the building and I got excited. One thing about my brothers and friends, they will tell me the truth. So I got to be on my A game. I got to be on my A game because Cryptonomics is going to say, Grand Sheik, he smoked your boots. So some of my bashful friends was like, don't worry about it. You'll get them next time. It's not about who wins. It's all about how you play the game. And I got to get it together now. Cryptonomics in the building.
Islam.
I can hear you well now. I hope it stay like that.
Islam. Let's get it going now.
All right.
All
So go
right.
ahead and introduce yourself, brother.
All right. My name is Sheikh Asar Sadiel. I have been a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America since the year 2010. Since 2010. But prior to that, I have been studying it. I want to say 2.5 years prior to that. Um, I have been students of various Moorish leaders to which I give honors to, because we know that, when you don't honor, when you don't honor to whom honor is due, you're doing a disservice to not only yourself, but you are also invoking the wrath of Allah. We can never forget about who gave us the information we got before we had the knowledge. So I thank all of my Moorish elders who took the time out to educate me, whether if I'm studying under them to this day or not. I give honors to you all. Now, to get straight to it without further delay, right? The Moorish Science Temple of America is a religious organization that was founded by Prophet Noble Drew Ali, right? It was established, right? This is what
One
a lot of
one second. Brother, you're breaking up again, but I think you might be all right. But the brother need to start the time. He going to pose that yield the floor to him, but he going to start the time so we could keep it in a concentrated effort. But you still broke up a little bit more. But I yield the floor. Let's yield the floor to Montezuma Bay. Hopefully your mic don't get the cracking.
All right, is everybody able to hear me well? All right, so the first topic of discussion is what is the Moorish Science of America? And Brother Asar L, you will be beginning with the opening statement of 15 minutes. I'll have my timer. Followed by that, the Grand Sheikh Taharka Bey will be responding with a 15-minute response. A 5-minute rebuttal will be on you, Brother Asar L. And then a 5-minute rebuttal from the Grand Sheikh. And that will conclude the first portion of our show. And then the second portion will be what is the practices or what are the practices of Moorish American Muslims, with the 15-minute opener with you, Brother Asar L, followed by the Grand Sheikh's 15-minute response, 5-minute rebuttal from yourself, and 5-minute rebuttal on his end. And then last minute remarks will be 10 minutes from yourself, Brother Asar L. And then Grand Sheik will close it out with the 10-minute response. Are these rules and expectations and objectives clear to everyone? Islam, Brother Asar L is clear. Grand Sheik, are these clear to you, brother? Islam, a head nod is an affirmation. All right, Brother Asar L, your time starts right now.
Islam. Family. Y'all don't hear any cracking, do y'all? I don't hear any cracking. We good? Islam. Okay, so the Moorish Temple of America was a religious corporation, not incorporation, but a religious corporation that was established by Prophet Noble Drew Ali in the year 1928. So, right, we have to understand that. In fact, when you look at the back of the Moorish questionnaire, right, when you look on the back of this, you would literally see the affidavit for the Moorish Temple of America. You would see the affidavit. On this affidavit, it is a religious corporation, right? So when we keep that in mind, we have to understand that this is a body of politic. This is literally a body of politic. You get what I'm saying? So when you have a body of politic, that is a form of government. That is literally a form of government that the prophet established in a form of a theocratical institution known as the Moorish Temple of America. We're dealing with a theological institution. We have to look at the root word for theological, which is theo. That means ruled by God. There's no separation between temple and state as far as the Moorish Temple of America is concerned. It's no separation. That's far as that's the European government. But the way the prophet set it up is the laws of our religious organization. The laws of our religious organization is also the laws of our government. It teaches us how to carry ourselves as Moorish American Moslems. According to the laws, the rules, and the regulations and the dictates of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and established by his prophet Noble Drew Ali. We have in the Moorish Temple of America our very own constitution. Our very own constitution. But it's not any other constitution. It's the divine constitution of our laws. Because the laws represents divinity. These laws come directly from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, handed to us directly from the prophet, not by man, but by an angel of Allah. Because when we look at key 40, it tells us what our prophet is to us. Our prophet is an angel of Allah who was sent to give us the everlasting gospel of Allah. We have to understand that. So this is what the Moorish Temple of America is. Does it have this? It's a Rotarian complex. That's what it is. It's a Rotarian complex as well. So again, we have the Moorish Islamic government, and then we have the religious organization, which is one. It's like when Jesus said in the Bible, he said, "I and my Father are one." The Moorish Temple of America and the Moorish Divine National Movement, which was founded May 1st, 1916 AD, in the year of our Lord, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, is one. And also, as a premises for that, when you look at the seal inside of the Moorish Holy Quran Circle 7, when it has the Moorish Divine National Movement, it has the actual date on there. May 1st, 1916 AD. That's when that was established by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. It's no separation. But to add furthermore on to that demonstration is this. You have a lot of people saying that the Moorish Temple of America is an incorporation. It is not. When you incorporate into a state, which you can't, that violates both state and federal law. But when you file under a 501c3, you are literally putting the European in Moorish affairs, Moorish business, which the prophet didn't want us to do. So this is what the Moorish Temple of America is: a religious corporation. That's exactly what it is. With that, I yield.
Islam,
I'm
brother,
a mute. I'm
you
a mute.
still have 10.5 minutes.
Oh, Islam. I didn't know Islam. So, I mean, I could go longer. I just didn't know. All right. So, the Moorish Temple of America is also an Islamic organization which practice Sufism. We're going to get on later on to that as the discussion continues. But it is a Sufi organization. It's an Islamic Sufistic organization. You know that is practiced by Moorish American Moslems. We have the Moorish Temple of America. The members that make it up are deemed to be Moorish American Moslems, not Muslims, but Moslems. So we do practice Sufism, man. Like I said, we have our own divine constitution. For those who don't know about the Moorish government, let's break this down. Anytime you deal with a constitution, that deals with government. A constitution is the makeup of a nation. And when you look inside of those law dictionaries, and I have plenty of them around me, I'm literally in my library, right? When you look up constitution, it deals with government. It deals with government. So we have Act 1, which is our divine constitution. We have Act 2 through 7, which is our bylaws. This is what makes up the Moorish Temple of America. These laws, right, like I said, come from Allah through our holy and divine prophet, Noble Dra Ali. And if you go farther, these laws are actually traced back to our ancestors, the ancient Moors, who ruled Morocco some 10,000 some odd years ago. These laws can be traced back far. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Temple of America, Circle 7. The Holy Quran. This is a part of Moorish law. This is also a foundation stone for us Moors to stand on when it comes to the Moorish Temple of America. If you want to learn about the Moorish Temple of America, I would advise that y'all who aren't Moors get a copy of this. Because when you read chapter 48, the prophet is going to tell you how he founded this organization, how he established it, how he has charters to issue out to all the states throughout the United States of North America, North, South, and Central America. Let me correct myself. So the prophet breaks this down to a T. We have our own Holy Quran, our own holy book. So when it comes to the Moorish Temple of America, this is a blessed religious corporation because we don't have to go outside of ourselves to find ourselves. The Moorish Temple of America was established to teach you how to be yourself. You don't have to speak the Arabic language. You don't have to speak the Hebrew language. You don't have to speak any other language. You don't have to identify with any other culture. The Moorish Temple of America teaches you your own culture. How nice is that? We've been on a cultural identity crisis mission, searching for our culture, searching for our identity, our nationality, our true religion. I see brothers arguing all the time about what was the religion of our ancestors. Well, the prophet gave it to us. We didn't just have any man teach us, y'all. We had a holy and divine prophet sent to us by God himself, the almighty creator Allah. We blessed. We are truly blessed. And he wasn't just a man, he was perfected man. He was an angel. So we got the best of the best teachers. That's what the Moorish Temple of America represents. I mean, we could go on and tell you what the Moorish Temple of America is. We could go, it's infinite. The conversation, the dialogue be infinite. It's never ending. You get what I'm saying? However, the main premises that we will be using is that the Moorish Temple of America is a religious corporation and also a government. It's a theocratical institution. It's a monarchy. It's a monarch. It's ruled by man. It's ruled by man. It's headed by man. The holy and divine prophet. We could see this on the back of the questionnaire on the affidavit. It's brothers on here. It's men. It's his successors. It's men. Man is the head of the house. He said in the Moorish Holy Quran, Circle 7, fathers, by these lessons, you can set your household in order. He said fathers, meaning man is the head of the house. This is a monarchy. One ruler. One ruler. This is what our prophet gave us. And like I said, it's based on divine law. It's not based on carnal law. It's not based on man's law. What man deemed to be law has nothing to do with us if it violates our religious, our moral, our spiritual behavior. Our prophet gave us our own laws to live by and live in. In fact, when you look at the divine constitution and bylaws, you see the prophet standing in the middle of the law,
5 minutes.
representing that he's standing in law. Islam, I yield. I'm a mute. I'm yield. Islam.
You just got 5 minutes left more. You good?
Oh, Islam. I don't know why, but let me put my phone back. I don't know why, but it seems like whenever y'all muted, I don't hear the cracking for some reason. I don't hear the cracking for some reason, but Islam. But when you look at the prophet, it's represent him standing in law. It represents him standing in law. And anybody who knows about law knows that you must be in law. You must be in law. The prophet said the Moorish Simple America was established to make our men and women better citizens. How are you deemed to be a better citizen? When you standing in law. Not out of law. When you out of law, you out of character. You out of law. You're not deemed to be a part of this Moorish Divine National Movement. So we must keep that in mind. I hope I didn't say too much, but I really wanted to wait and bounce ideas with the Grand Sheik, So with that, y'all, I'm going to yield my time because I want to hear what my brother got to say. I just had to introduce myself and give my opening, but we about to come with that fire tonight. I hope y'all ready. But with that said, y'all, I'm gonna mute up. I'm gonna push this mute button. I yield.
Islam. There's 3 minutes and 40 seconds left. Pausing the time, and we're about to reset it and start the 15 minutes for the Grand Sheik. Hold on for a moment. 50 minutes starts now, Grand Sheik.
All right, Islam. So, family, I got to get right into it. I'm really passionate about this, but honor to my brother. Well, first of all, the Moorish Science Temple of America is a religious corporation, but it's also an incorporation. The reason that we know that is that one thing we have to do is one thing that I pride myself on doing is sticking to what the prophet said. If I stick to what the prophet said, I can't go wrong. I can't go wrong if I stick to what the prophet said. So I can only, once I stick to what the prophet say, the next thing I got to try to is understand why the prophet said it. You know what I'm saying? And so I can't go off of my own understanding because my own understanding got me in some mess that I used to be trying to get out of for years. So let me screen share real quick. And let me, because I got to show what, I think this is it right here. All right, yeah. So yeah, the Moorish Science Temple of America. Make sure y'all can see me. Okay, I'm gonna blow it up a little bit. The Moorish Science Temple of America is a corporation incorporated in this government, which makes it an incorporation. It's incorporated, so it is what it is. And here is the filing that the Prophet Noble Ali, when he changed the name of the said corporation. Anytime that you see a corporation, it's incorporated. It can't be a corporation without it being incorporated. That's just how it works. Anybody who's been in business, you know that there's ways to set up corporations. You can have a LLC, you can have a enterprise, but this corporation is incorporated. And now let me show and prove. Real quick, let me show and prove that the Prophet Noble Ali says himself. These are not my words; these are the Prophet words. The Moorish Science Temple of America is a lawfully chartered and incorporated organization. This is why we can see Emilio on his convention flyer. If you look real close, you can see it's Moorish Science, 5th annual convention of the Moorish Science Temple of America, INC. Now, many people don't want to use the INC because the Kirkman Bay faction under Jones Bay has jacked what incorporated me because they incorporated under the Secretary of State. But there's also other ways that you can incorporate during the time of the prophet. Even in today, you can incorporate it under her. You can be incorporated under Hers Provide statute, and that's how the prophet filed the affidavit of corporation. It's not. The affidavit of corporation is the paperwork to incorporate the actual organization called the Moorish Science Temple of America. And again, the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America tells you that it is incorporated. And with the legal, let me say with the legal, I want to say real quick, is my screen still shared? With the legal, my bad, I missed my screen. And with the legal connections with that corporation, the prophet says that any subordinate temple that desires to receive a charter, the prophet have them issued to every state throughout the United States. That's the power of the corporation that is incorporated. And like many might want to play word games with that, but there was no such thing as a 501c3 during the time of the prophet. And there was many incorporated religious corporations during that time. As you can see, on the document that I have to the right is the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. It's coming out the newspaper where the Prophet Noble Drew Ali says, since the work of the Moorish Science Temple of America is largely religious-related, since the work of the Moorish Science Temple of America was largely religious, the organization has been legally changed to a religious corporation, and the affidavit to this effect has been properly filed in the county of Cook. So I would argue that the prophet is using corporation and incorporation interchangeably because incorporation is in the divine book called the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. This is in the last chapter of the Moorish Science Temple of America, tell you that it's incorporated. I don't want to stay there too long, but here is another. This is where all the way up in 93, they still using incorporated. And this is not the Moorish Science Temple of America incorporated under Jones Bay, the 501c3. Now, what is the Moorish Science Temple of America? The Moorish Science Temple of America is a lawfully and chartered corporation. It's an organization that's predicated to metamorphose and grow into a nation. In other words, it's going to unfold into a nation. But as of today, it's an organization. And how does the organization look? There is an administration, and that administration would be consistent with a Grand Sheikh. That's the head, but the Grand Sheikh is not only the Grand Sheikh, he's the Grand Sheikh and chairman. The Grand Sheikh gives the connotation of the religious teacher. The chairman gives the connotation of the corporate structure. The chairman, like the chairman of the board and all of that, yeah, he's the Grand Sheikh and chairman. And they interchangeably, just like when the president is the what is the chief and something, y'all know what I'm talking about. Anyway, the Grand Sheikh and chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America, that is the head. He is the religious leader as well as the corporate file holder, and Emilio held that position. Now it says the Grand Sheikh and the chairman is empowered to make laws and enforce laws with the assistance of the prophet and the grand body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The grand body of the Moorish Science Temple of America is a collective of the temples being represented by local Grand Sheikh, and the members are represented by those Grand Sheikhs, and those Grand Sheikhs are represented by governors, and those governors are represented by grand governors. And so, yeah, we have these titles that are interchangeable with religious and civic titles, but we are still an organization that have yet to metamorph and grow into the nation. We have all the bells and whistles of a nation, but I mean, structurally, we have all the bells and whistles to structurally be a nation. But at this stage, we are still an organization incorporated in this government. That's right. Somebody just put it up there. President is the commander in chief, and that's equivalent to Grand Sheikh and chairman. But the Grand Sheikh is a religious leader. Also, he is the corporate charter holder of the Moorish Science Temple of America. So, yep, it is a religious corporation. As well as as well as a society, I wanted to say. Now, let me get that real quick. Let me just drop down real quick. And here is the filing that we know. Now, what is the purpose of the Moorish Science Temple of America? Everybody know is to uplift fallen humanity. But we know that this is the Moorish Science Temple of America is incorporated in the government, because in the United States government, it is. So once you are incorporated within the United States government, the prerequisite is that you have to go by the laws of this government. You don't incorporate into a system that you're not a part of. You know what I mean? Like, you can't incorporate into a system and then make your own rules. It doesn't work like that. He incorporated the organization into into this government because he's seen in Chicago that the laws suited the purpose for where we're trying to go. In other words, he's seen a path up out of this oppression by going through the laws as already there that predates and pre-exists the organization with the founding of the United States of America. He see a way up out of this. And he's telling us that if we follow this, we can get up out of this oppression. You know what I mean? If we follow this, we can get up out of this oppression. With that being said, the next thing I want to point out is that the organization established by Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the reason why, according to Prophet Noble Drew Ali, that he was sent to us here is very simple. It's in the divine constitution and bylaws. It says, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem men from their sinful ways. Proclaim their nationality to be recognized by this government. Why is that so important? And many people may not understand why that is so important, but it's worth the time to try to decipher. Let me tell you something. Militarily, you ain't doing nothing over here. Politically, you can gain power overnight in numbers. In any local district, in any local community, any local sector of America, if your numbers are right, you can gain power politically overnight. And once you gain political power, you can grab power to the pen. Once you got power to the pen, you got power to the bread. So what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali is talking about is getting in the position to get the power, not to fight the power, but to be the power, and put your hand on the pulse. The Moorish Science Temple of America, it says the Moorish Holy Divine International Movement. This is one of the flyers. I mean, yeah, you call it a flyer from the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So we see that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali is not only a religious corporation, it's also an organization predicated on, I'm going to read it for you, if I can get to it real quick. The Moorish Science Temple of America. The Moorish Science Temple of America was founded by Noble Drew Ali. Aside from the fact that it is a legal and organized religious corporation, it is building on human needs. To this desirable and legitimate means will be found to dispense charity and provide mutual assistance as of its members in the times of distress, to aid in the improvement of health, and to encourage ownership of better home, to find employment for our members, to teach those fundamental principles which are desired for our civilization, such as obedience to law, loyalty to government, tolerance, and unity. Now, if one don't understand where the prophet is trying to take us, I can only explain it in this way. Back in the day, there was a physical movement in Troy called the Trojan horse, where they were able to move incandescently in this big horse to enter into this space in order to take it over and make change. The Moorish Science Temple of America is moving on a political as well as through the religious door in order to move into this Trojan horse so we can take our place in the affairs of men and turn this thing around. Moorish Science Temple of America is about being the power, not asking somebody to do something for us, putting ourselves in position to do it for ourselves. And so when we get taken away with the religious connotation that it's just a religious this, a religious that, and we look at it from a Western standpoint, the way that we think today is that it's all about praise Allah, assalamu alaikum Allah, and Allahu Akbar and Islam more. We miss out on the civic part that we supposed to be moving on to put ourselves in a position of power, to put ourselves in a position of economic power, number one. And so that's the Moorish Science Temple of America. So the question is, what is the Moorish Science Temple of America? It's an organization that is predicated upon metamorphosis into a full-blown nation. Are we there yet? Absolutely not. Most of us haven't even scratched the surface yet. We haven't even practiced organization yet. I mean, our administration do. I must admit, we do. But many people calling themselves a Moorish Science Temple of America has not effectively practiced organization yet. So they can't even. They got the foundation to be a nation, but many of us got the foundation to be a nation. But yet, until we perfect organization, we have nothing. We have nothing. And so that's my spill. That's my spill. The Moorish Science Temple of America is a religious corporation, an organization predicated upon metamorphosis into a nation. And we have all the bells and whistles to do that, but we have yet to do that yet. And that's just what it is. But I would argue that it's an incorporation. Once you incorporate something in the government, it's an incorporation. There's various corporations. There's incorporation. You can be an ink. You don't have to use the ink when you understand business. You don't have to put ink on something to be an incorporation. I think that's a lot of internet jargon. But when you know business, when you incorporate something, it asks you the question: do you want to use ink or don't you? Do you want to use? They got other terms you could use like enterprise or entertainment or et cetera, et cetera. So I yield the floor at that.
Islam. All right. Brother Asir, are you ready for your 5-minute rebuttal? All right, your time starts now, brother.
Islam. I would like to say this, right? Again, the Moorish Science Temple of America is not a incorporation. I study law. In fact, I have a bunch of my law books here, right? Let's look at the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. And it says separation between church and state. Now we're off into the legal field, right?
Bro, you got a lot of static. You got a lot of static.
My people had told me when y'all had muted that they didn't hear any static, but whenever y'all unmute the static, I don't know why it's like that. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check. We don't hear anything. I literally just got a text from my brothers, and they said they don't hear nothing whenever y'all mute. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but all right. Let's get to it. Right. So when we're off into the law. Yes, sir. It's not. Now we're off into the legal field. Now, in dealing with law, the First Amendment, it speaks about separation between church and state. Church and state. It's a separation between the two. And when you go farther on into the clause of the First Amendment, it says no state can support any religion. That's in the First Amendment. And the prophet referred to the American Constitution as being one of the greatest documents in the world. And using the prophet's words and one of the greatest documents in the world, the American Constitution, no state can support a religion. So how did the prophet incorporate his religion's corporation into a state? How? It's no way possible. It's no way possible that he incorporated into any state. Any state. Y'all listen. What I'm going to do is, after this round, I'm going to use my other phone to come in, and I'm going to see if that works. This is a brand new phone. I don't know what's going on. But
Hey, brother, take your time. Take your time and do it. Take your time and do it now, because I want everybody to hear you.
all right,
Pause
I'm
it.
finna
Pause
do
it.
it. Go
Take your
ahead,
time and do
brother.
it
Go
now.
ahead. I'm finna do it now. Yeah.
Yeah, let's give him a chance to do it. Because this is definitely, he got 5 minutes, and I want it only going to take a second. Only take a second. You know what I'm saying? No. This is good. Good. How y'all doing? Everybody sharing this for me? Check 1, 2. Everybody doing it? All right. This is going to be pretty good. This is going to be pretty good. Check 1, 2. Let me see where we at. We're going to wait for somebody say stop calling and texting. While we waiting, brother Montezuma Bay, brother Crip said, can you set the context of the debate?
He wants me to restate it.
Yeah. Just reiterate what the debate is all about.
All right. So the first round that we're about to close is, what is the Moorish Science Temple of America? We just had 15-minute opening from the brother Ashir L, followed by the Grand Sheikh's 15-minute response. And then the 5-minute rebuttal, we're in the middle of that right now, from brother Ashir L. And the Grand Sheikh will follow with another 5-minute rebuttal. Then the second part of the show will be, what is or what are the practices of Moorish American Muslim or Moorish American Moslems. 15-minute opening by brother Ashir, followed by a 15-minute response of the Grand Sheikh, 5-minute rebuttal, 5-minute rebuttal from the Grand Sheikh, 10-minute closing remarks from brother Ashir L, and 10-minute closing remarks from our Grand Sheikh. I think you muted, Grand Sheikh.
Yeah, he's not in yet. So I don't want to say too much until he get back in. How y'all doing so far? Kabucha break. Come on, Asar. Where you at, brother? What you doing? Come on, man. Broken Blade. Let me read some of these comments. Cryptodines, I meant the brother speaker. He was a bit off on context in regards to the separation of church and state. Yeah, I'm actually going to address that in a minute. I'm gonna actually address that in a minute, Broken Blades, in my response. Yeah, you can bet that. You can bet that. Let me see. I'm hoping that he come right in real fast and be able to. I hope he come in real fast and be able to pick up where, sometimes we lose our thoughts. I mean, he's coming in. Here you go. All right, my brother, you in?
Islam, how's this?
You sound better, brother. Try to pick up right. I mean, start where you begin from and start the time over. Start the time over and let him start where he started from. I think he was talking about something about the Constitution or something like that.
Yes, it's no separation between the state and it's no separation between state and church when it comes to us. When I use the term church, we have to understand I'm not talking about the physical place that the Christians worship in. When you're dealing with law, church is synonymous with the word religion. It's synonymous. So when we say separation between church and state, it's separation between religion and state. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, bro, you good. You sound good.
All right. I could keep going. All right. So again, right? I want to know, what state did the prophet incorporate in, right? What state did he incorporate in, right? And not only that, how was he not in violation of both state and federal law? Because even when you go outside of the American National Constitution, when you go to just a mere state constitution, they all have separation between church and state. So if the Moorish Temple of America was a incorporation, then that means that the prophet would have been out of law. He's out of law. And the state and the federal government, for accepting that, would have been out of law. I don't believe that the Moorish Temple of America is a incorporation, because when you study law, that is a contradiction and a violation, right? My position is what the prophet Noble Drew Ali has stated, that the Moorish Temple of America, on the back of the questionnaire, is a religious corporation. It's not just any corporation. We can't compare a religious corporation to a secular corporation. They're not the same. One is of divinity and one is just an earthly concept. It's based on man's law. But we dealing with divine law. And our prophet told us, he told us in the oral statement, he said, Europeans is to be in European business and Asiatics is supposed to be in Asiatics business. The Honorable Marcus Garvey stated this: if you want lynched with us, stay out of our affairs. Hold on, wait. But Marcus Garvey was the forerunner of the prophet. And the prophet studied Marcus Garvey's philosophies. He studied his ideologies. And Marcus Garvey even said the same thing to back up what the prophet said. If you want lynched with us, stay out of our affairs. So why would a prophet include the European in our affairs? If you study, and all y'all could Google it, right? All of y'all could Google it. When you Google the 501c3 rules and regulations, you have to turn in a report of all affairs of that organization. Why would a prophet be handing in a report to the European about all Moorish affairs? Do we have any documents where the prophet had melted off to the Europeans to get them involved in our affairs? Because you have to do that. That is the rules and the regulations of an incorporation. So how's a corporation and an incorporation one and the same? That's not true. That's not true at all. Incorporation and corporation, when you study law, y'all, is not one and the same. And like I say, I study law. I got multiple law books here. I have an understanding. I don't just have the books, but I have an understanding of the concept of law. I have an understanding of these books. Islam. Yes, sir. So, like I say, it's no European that's above our holy and divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. It's no way he would have incorporated this thing. The Moorish Temple of America, y'all, is strictly a religious corporation. Yes, in the year 1926, the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, when he established that organization, that was a civic organization that was legally incorporated, but it wasn't a religious organization. If you don't believe me, read the Moorish literature, y'all. It was a civic organization that was incorporated. My brother Taharka Bey brought up donations. Prophet Noble Drew Ali told you that we practice the faith of Muhammad. Donations don't just come from incorporation. It comes from the great Quran of Muhammad, Surah 73, Ayat 20. Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be unto him, told us to demonstrate donations. Donation to the sick, the poor, etc. So donations is in the Holy Quran, the great Quran of Muhammad. Which
time.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, brother Ashir L. Grand Sheik, are you ready for your 5-minute rebuttal? All right, you're muted. Can't hear you.
I was saying I was ready, and
timer starts.
All right, time start. So, family, what my brother has is a horrible, and I'm sorry if I got to say it this way, has a horrible misunderstanding of the First Amendment. The First Amendment only says that Congress will not interfere. The First Amendment only says that Congress would not interfere. Now let's read it. Let me change it. It doesn't stipulate what a person can incorporate at their religious organization. It doesn't have nothing to do with how you incorporate your organization. It has everything to do with Congress not interfering. Right here. It says right here, Congress should make no law respecting an establishment of religion, which means you can establish it by incorporating it. They will make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. The free exercise is indicative of if you want to incorporate it, you can. And abridging freedom of speech, of press, and the right for the people to peacefully assemble and petition of the government for redress. So it says that the government is not going to get involved with how you are moving in religion. And once again, right beneath that, I'm showing you the corporation paper that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali filed in Chicago, Illinois. You say, what state? Chicago, Illinois. We see right here that the Prophet says, matter of fact, let me break it down for you. We see right here that it's in the state of Illinois. Right here, the state of Illinois, biggest day, the state of Illinois. Right on top of that, it says corporations, religious affidavit of corporations. Now, what did he file? He filed under Hertzbevide statute. This is not a 501c3 that only came into existence in the 80s. He filed under Hertzbevide statute. If you can't see it, don't worry. I'm going to break it down to you. Family, if you can't see, let me see if I can get a line right here. It's very glossy, but it says Hertzbevide statute, chapter such and such and such and such, right? And it shows you, and the Prophet left his footprints clearly cut, so he can show you how he did this. You follow what I'm saying? And right beneath, he's talking to you about the chapter and how he incorporated it. Now, let me break it down to you. This is how he incorporated. That's the rules of the incorporation. Any church, and he's right when he said church, it only means a religious organization. Any church, congregation, or society formed for the purpose of religious worship may become incorporated by the following: by electing, appointing according to its uses and customs, at any meeting held for the purpose of 2 or 3 or more members. That's what this paper is for. It's an affidavit of corporation, of religious corporation. So it can be incorporated in the government. And so you say, what state is incorporated? In the state of Illinois. It says it right here, in the county of Cook. But it's not incorporated as a 501c3. There was no such thing as a 501c3. And so the Prophet incorporated under the laws of the state of Illinois. And he tells us that right here, because since the work of the Moorish Temple of America, is largely religious, the organization legally changed to a religious corporation. That's what I'm telling you, that interchangeable has nothing to do with this First Amendment. The First Amendment just saying that Congress would not infringe upon you. It has nothing to do with anything. It has nothing to do with anything as it relates to establishing this religious corporation. It is incorporated in the government. And you say, what state? The state of Illinois, by the way of the county of Cook, by the way of an affidavit of corporation. And that's why the one that really knocks this out the park is the Prophet's own words. See, we got to figure out why the Prophet said what he said. His own words. These are not my words. The Moorish Temple of America is a lawfully and chartered, incorporated organization. The moment that we say, oh no, it's not an incorporated, it's not an inc, we have violated and went against the holy and divine prophet. What we should be doing is trying to figure out why the Prophet said it was incorporated and why he incorporated it. I think that's my time.
All right. Now, the first portion of our show has been concluded. Now we are going to transfer to our second portion. What is or what are the practices of Moorish American Muslims? Or what is the practice of a Moorish American Muslim? Brother Asir, you have 15 minutes to express your point on this, and it starts now.
Islam. Yeah, so the practices of the Moorish Science Temple of America, again, as I stated, we are Sufis. You know, a lot of Moors say, you know, we're not Sufis, we practice Islamism. I'm not saying that we don't practice Islamism. That is our religion. That isn't our faith. When you read, and I'm only citing the prophet, so you got to deal with the prophet on this, y'all, right? So when we look at the page 10 in the Moorish literature, it says, what is Islam? It says Islam is a very simple faith. So Islam is our faith. But what form of the faith of Islam do we practice, right? The form of the faith that we practice is Sufi. It's only in Sufi Islam that another prophet comes after Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be on him. In Sunni Islam, there is no prophet after Prophet Muhammad. There is no prophet after him, peace and blessings be on to Prophet Muhammad. In Sunni Islam, there is no other prophet coming after Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be on to him. It's only in Sufi Islam that another prophet comes after Prophet Muhammad. Now, also in Sufism, they wear a fez like us. They study the history and the great significance of the Moorish Islamic fez. They study this. Not only that, right? They also seek to experience a personal connection with Allah. They don't wait till they die to experience God, Allah. They seek to experience Allah right here on this earth. And when you look at the teachings of the prophet and you compare and contrast, right? You use a scholarly method, right? When you do that, you will actually see the connection that the prophet did teach Sufi Islam. He did. Did he outright say it? No, he didn't. No, he didn't. The prophet was a great master teacher, because if he gave us all of the answers, then we wouldn't need to study, correct? We wouldn't need to study. I'm gonna give you for example, he gave us a Morse questionnaire with a question and an answer, but you got to do the work and study the middle of the story. How did the prophet reach the conclusion to get that answer from answering that question? You have to do the research. For prime example, where do we meet Allah? And this is a Sufi concept. Where do we meet Allah? In the heart. He wasn't talking about in your mind. He was talking about the physical heart. Why? Because the physical heart, when you study neurology, right? When you study that, it tells you, and I know that neuro deals with the brain, it deals with the mind, but understand the concept that I'm giving. When you study neurology, they say that the heart is considered to be your second brain. Do your research if you don't believe. Do your research. The heart is considered to be your second brain because it's made up of 40,000 neurons. It's made up of 40,000 neurons. And neurons is what sends and receives messages. When we pray and we sending a message to Allah, when we praying, and when our prayers are answered, are we not receiving a message in the form of a blessing? Yes. And this is a Sufi concept. When you look at Sufism, you will see the symbol is a heart. It's a heart with a crescent and a moon upside down in the center of that heart, and it has wings on it. It has wings on it, representing the ascension of the heart, being raised to a higher degree and being one with Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a Sufi concept. So when you study the teachings of the prophet in depthly, there is no room for confusion. There is no room for any doubt that he brought Sufi Islam. That's the form of the faith we practice. Then he tells us in key 17, what is our religion? Islamism. But when you look at the suffix of Islamism, which is ism, it means to practice, to carry out, the study of. So we're practicing the faith of Islam. We're carrying out the faith of Islam. That's what that means. So there would be no misunderstanding today. There would be absolutely no misunderstanding tonight. We practice Sufi Islam. And I know this is a new concept to most people on this platform, you know, in the comment section, but I'm telling you what it is because I have spent years studying this. I have sat under the elders studying this. I have historical documentations from the elders that they blessed me with to preserve and protect. The Prophet taught Sufi Islam. This is our practice. We take the Shahada, declaring there's no God but Allah, and no Bujrali is his prophet. We make salat. We pray. We make salat according to the Quran, because the Prophet say that we are to extend the great learning of the faith of Muhammad. And in the faith of Muhammad, you have to declare there's no God but Allah, and whatever prophet brought you Islam. Ours is Prophet no Bujrali. You have to pray. A man who does not pray is a man who cannot be trusted. You have to pray. Prophet Muhammad said no salat, no Islam. I'm going to say it again. Prophet Muhammad said no salat, no Islam. You got to demonstrate zakat. I just outlined it in the Holy Quran of Mecca, source 73, ayat 20. These are called primary sources I'm giving y'all right now. I'm actually citing my sources. I'm not giving an opinion. I'm citing my sources. That is a great and a significant difference right there. I'm citing the sources. Zakat. You have to demonstrate Hajj, pilgrimage. We say pilgrimage, we're talking about the pilgrimage within. That's talked about in Sufism. When you're traveling deep within yourself to meet with your creator, that's called Hajj, pilgrimage. We don't need to go to Saudi Arabia, Mecca, where thousands died during the pilgrimage. Do your research. They dying over there when they go pilgrimage. We pray. When we make salat, that is our holy pilgrimage to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't need to travel to the lands of men. Then you have Ramadan, fasting. The Prophet taught us about fasting. Read the Holy Quran, Circle 7. Jesus fasted for 40 days, 40 nights. John the Baptist did a silent fast in the Moorish Holy Quran, Circle 7. Did the Prophet outright say Ramadan? No, he didn't, but he did express fasting twice in the Moorish Holy Quran, Circle 7. He said, if I could get you to think, you could say it yourself. But the problem is Moors are not thinking. They're robots. They're not thinking. They're not effectively thinking. But the Prophet gave us the necessary tools to do the research. He wanted us to investigate. He said, investigate out a prophet. And what does that mean? That means to investigate his history, his works, his actions, his deeds, his doctrine. Investigate. So like I say, Moors, we practice Sufi Islam. But we don't practice the Arabian form of Sufi Islam. We practice Sufi Islam from an African Moorish perspective. And listen, I know Moors who lack great understanding take a bridge to the word Africa or African. But if you do your research, it don't come from Leo Sepio. Let's stop with the Moorish nonsense. Let's stop. It's a lot of Moors who have a misconception about Africa. So when I say African Moorish perspective, let's not twist our faces, because that comes from the Afro tribe. The Afri tribe in Tunisia, which were Moors. And they practiced Sufi Islam. Y'all heard about the Marabouts? Let's talk about it. The Marabouts were Sufi Muslims and they were Moors. The Marabouts in Morocco. The Prophet said you are, in chapter 47, he said you are what your ancient forefathers were, without a doubt or contradiction. So what I come to do tonight is I come to bring great understanding when it comes to this divine doctrine of the Holy Prophet no Bujrali. We are Sufi Muslims, not Muslims, Muslims. These are our practices. We practice everything as outlined in the Moorish Holy Quran, Circle 7, as well as in the Great Quran of Muhammad. How can you be a Moorish American Muslim and you do not practice what's in this Holy Quran? If you don't study the faith of Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be unto him, how are you a Muslim? It's a lot of Moors scared of this book. Why? They don't understand it. I do. And for those who don't know who Sheikh Asar is, look me up. Study this book. This book right here, you have to practice this book in order to be a Muslim, because this is where we derive our power and authority from. On the back of the Moorish questionnaire, the affidavit. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. On the back of the affidavit, on the affidavit, the prophet say we are to extend the learning of the faith of Muhammad. What is the faith of Muhammad, y'all? Where you go find it at? In the Quran of Muhammad, right here, the great Quran. He say we are to practice. We derive our power and authority from the great Quran of Muhammad. That's this, y'all. That's this book right here. So if you're not practicing this alongside of the Moorish Holy Quran, Circle 7, I'm telling you, family, you're lost. You lost. The prophet even referred to the Bible as the sacred scripture inside of the Moorish literature. So if you ain't demonstrating within that Bible, you're lost. You're lost. We take these three books, Bible, Quran, and Quran. We take these three books, and this is what we stand on. This is what we practice. This is the practices of the Moorish American Moslems. And mind you, I'm citing the prophet. So if I'm wrong, that means you're saying the prophet wrong. Because I'm citing him. I've given you, I've cited my sources. If I'm saying something that the prophet is saying, he's referred to the Bible as the sacred scripture. We derive our power and authority from the great Quran of Muhammad, this book. He brought us this Holy Quran. What did I say wrong, y'all? Nothing. With that, I yield. Oh, FYI, yes, for the comment section, I am a recognized sheikh. Yield. Thank you.
Islam, brother, you have 3 minutes that you still want to use?
Oh, no. I can yield. I can yield to my brother Taharka Bey. Taharka Bey, you know I'm let me use a little of my 3 minutes to say that. Taharka Bey, I'm passionate like you. I love your energy. That's why when you talk that talk, Mo, I'll be like, Islam, talk that talk. I'm passionate like you, but like you say, I ain't gonna never cross no lines, Mo. So I got that fiery spirit, Mo. I got that fiery spirit, Mo. I'm a young Mo. I'm 31, about to be 32. I'm a young fiery Mo. You hear me? But hey, don't mind the passion, Mo. I love you, brother. With that, I yield.
Islam, I'm about to start your timer, Grand Sheik. Are you ready? All right, 50 minutes starts now.
So here we go. So the brother said, he said a bunch, but I'm gonna just hit the main points that he made. One of the main points that he made is that the only religion or the only Islamic group that has the only Islamic groups that has a prophet to come after Prophet Muhammad is the Sufi. That's not true. The Ahmadiyya, let's talk about the Ahmadiyya real quick, because they're gonna segue right into what I'm talking about. The Ahmadiyya, and I know he probably know that, he just thought about it, it just hit him. You know what I mean? The Ahmadiyya actually demonstrates of their prophet. Let me pull my window up real quick. Here you go. I'm gonna hit your cash sign in a minute, family. The Ahmadiyya is this guy here. You know what I mean? Mirza Ahmad. He is the Indian religious leader of the Ahmadiyya movement. If you are familiar with our brother Imam, what's my brother name? I forget his name, but I don't want to waste my time on it. Whatever the name it is. But he is considered a prophet to them. You see what I'm saying? Imam Bashir. He follows the Ahmadiyya. Now, let me school you real quick. First, when you talk about the Moorish literature and you're talking about it's the prophet's words, you have to be careful about that, because this right here was not written by the prophet. Actually, this was written by brother prophet Noble Drew Ali, reincarnated prophet. That was the Moorish literature, was not written by the prophet. You have to be careful with that. That was written, the original Moorish literature was written by him, and then Kirkman Bey duplicated it. But to your point, what the Moorish literature is articles out of the Moorish Guide newspaper as written by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So you have to know historical context before you really hit your points real hard. Now, with that being said, as you can see, brother prophet Noble Drew Ali reincarnated the third. That is the reincarnated prophet, which I was on the show the other night, and I told the brother that, yeah, the reincarnated prophet was a fraud. Now, I took it back because I don't want to offend anybody, but just so people can remember that. I wanted to bring that up. And so I apologize to anybody who follow the reincarnated prophet. I just don't agree that it's actual fact. Now, with that being said, and when you look at this guy right here, that is the prophet for the Ahmadiyya movement, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali had some respect for this group that was in Chicago at the time. And so what the prophet did was he didn't write the article, "What is Islam?" He submitted the article, "What is Islam?" And that came out of the Ahmadiyya newspaper called the Muslim Sunrise. So what the prophet is doing is sharing other people's concepts of Islam, because Moorish science had not been in a box. It was not in a box, and it should not be in a box. So he shared this from the Muslim Sunrise, which is the Ahmadiyya newspaper. And it says, Islam is a very simple faith. It requires man to recognize his duty towards God, his creator, and his fellow creatures. This was not written by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. He shared it in the newspaper. And as you can see in the newspaper, if you ever had all the newspaper, he shared many things in the newspaper. They had a bunch of businesses that wasn't consistent with Muslim practices. You understand what I'm saying? They had a whole bunch. They sold cigars in the newspaper. That might surprise some people. Oh yeah, they sold cigars. You know what I'm saying? That for advertisement, not the profit, but there was that. So, and anybody at that point could take out an ad as long as it didn't go too far to the left. So this was an Ahmadiyya article, and they had many articles from that. You know what I'm saying? Many articles from that. Now, with that being said, there's another article from that, but I can get into that another time. Now, you said that when Prophet Noble Drew Ali said the nearest place to meet Allah is in the heart, and you say it's in the fleshly heart, the prophet also teaches that it's not in the flesh to think or in the bones to reason. In other words, that's just a lump of flesh. That's a lump of flesh. You know what I mean? It's a lump of flesh. The essence of you is beyond the flesh. You feel what I'm saying? The essence of you is beyond the flesh. And so if you think God is just sitting there, sitting on a throne in the flesh, in your chest, then we have a long way to go. No, that's not the case. What happened is these Sufis and these Muslims of the East, or Muslims of the East, has put our people back into mental slavery, and they don't even dig deep and look for the deeper understanding. They're on the surface, and they believe that God is sitting somewhere on the throne in a fleshly heart. Now, to your point that we are Sufis, this is the one I want to touch on. To your point that we are Sufis, I say, nay, we are not Sufis. We're not Sufis at all. Do Sufis practice some of the things that the Moorish American Muslim practice? And do the Muslim practice some of the things that the Moorish American practice? Maybe so. Who knows? Do the Sufi teachings be relatable to the Moorish Science of America teachings? Absolutely. I'm sure they do, because the Prophet Noble Drew Ali is a universal prophet, and those teachings could coincide with each other, but that don't mean that they are us, and that don't mean that we are them. Now, it said the proper traditional way, as recommended by our Grandmaster Sheikh, how to become a Sufi, Sheikh Amadou Bamboo. You can't make your own rules. And as recommended by most of traditional, Learn to be a good Muslim first. As you keep putting out the Holy Quran in Mecca, you seem to be more leaning towards an Eastern persuasion of Islam. There's nothing wrong with that. It said, practice your daily prayer. You said that you make salat. Continue to make the salat. Help the poor. Get familiar with the basics of the deen of Islam through Sharia. And they said Sharia. So you might be studying Sharia too. I don't know. Learn what the Mahabs have. Perhaps you belong to one. And this is one of the most qualified Sufis right here. One of the most qualified Sufis ever. Now, with that being said, according to my studies, it says a Sufi is a one that believes in Islam, known as Sufism. The spiritual goal of Sufi is to have a direct experience with God. That's the spiritual goal of the Moorish Science Temple of America, so that's agreeable too. So let's start right here. One thing that we're going to have a problem when we're dealing with being a Sufi, if you talk to a Sufi in real time and we use and we use terms like Allah, the father of the universe, a Sufi would say that is shirk off the top. A Sufi would not be in agreement that Allah is the father of anything. This is Islamism because it's very unique into itself. And to understand it, you would have to be amongst the circle of true elders to help break these sciences down. But listen, it says Allah, the father of the universe. One thing for sure, ain't no Sufi gonna say Allah, the father of anything. Who is Allah? Allah is the father of the universe. Prophet Noble Drew Ali continues to say that over and over. And this is the unique thing of the Moorish Science Temple of America. This is the very unique thing of the Moorish Science Temple of America. It goes on. We look at chapter 19. It says, it talks about Jesus in our Quran. He is the God-man of today, but every man shall overcome and be like him, a son of Allah. And Sufism, ain't nobody going to be talking about somebody as a son of Allah. Ain't nobody going to be talking about that Jesus is a son of Allah. That's one of the biggest shirks. That's one of the biggest shirks in Islam. That one would say that they are son of Allah. So, and to be a Sunni, be a Sufi, the first thing you would have to do is know basic Islam according to the Eastern persuasion. Don't know Islam to the Eastern persuasion, you're disqualified to be a Sufi. That's just the bottom line. The prophet goes on again. What is a prophet? A prophet is a thought of Allah manifested in flesh. The prophet Noble Drew Ali, a prophet. He don't have to be qualified by anybody else. Muhammad is not qualified by any other prophet, but every other prophet before Muhammad can validate that he is a prophet. And the same thing with Prophet Noble Drew Ali. When you look at our divine constitution and bylaw, once again, Prophet Noble Drew Ali says it again. Friday is the first day that man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his father, God Allah. Once again, he's calling God Father. Nah, not in Islam and the Eastern persuasion. There is no connotation of father in the Eastern persuasion where the Sufi order was born out of. There is none. That is called shirk, and it disqualifies even Prophet Noble Drew Ali to be a prophet in the Sufi circle. It disqualifies. And anybody that studied Eastern persuasion of Islam, you know what I'm talking about. Now, in this poem out of the Moorish Guide newspaper, it says, through dark and dreary scenes, it goes on down calamity. Allah, the Father, Noble Drew Ali, the Prophet, the Son of Allah. Even the followers of Prophet Noble Drew Ali is calling him the Son of Allah. That is shirk and Eastern persuasion, Sufi, Sunni, Shiite, Ahmadiyya, whatever you want to call it. That is shirk. So Prophet Noble Drew Ali did not practice Sufi Islam because he's going against the whole Eastern persuasion customs and codes. He's going against everything. He's bold too. He's bold too. He's going against every single custom and code. When you look right here, right? When you look right here. Now, this is the prophet's words. This ain't from no Moorish literature. This is the prophet's words, right? When you look right here, this is called Savior of Humanity. It say, coming as he does with a message for the nations, and somewhat is the connecting word. The same manner as did Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius. And somewhat, which means it's not exactly the same. And the other prophets of the day, the only things of this prophet day differ from the ills of the days of the past. Which in other words, he bringing the same thing somewhat, but it's slightly different because we are in a different time. We are in a different place. We are in a different experience. And it says the only things of this prophet they differ from the ills of the days of the past. And yet the remedy of the ills of today is yet about the same as the remedy of the days of the past, all turning about to pivot towards love for humanity. Now, that's one. But the connecting word is coming in somewhat the same manner as Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius. So listen, he is unique. Prophet Noble Drew Ali is unique. People misunderstand who he is. I mean, now on this last line that I got highlighted, say, it will be through his teachings, not Sufi, his teachings that the nations of the earth will understand the will of the master. His teaching, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. It will be through him that peace on earth and goodwill to all men shall come. It will be through his work that humanity will be brought from the slime of life back to the rock, placed on a rock of salvation. And that's what this picture represents on the side that's on your questionnaire. You know what I'm saying? It will be his work because his work is unique. And to show you how unique it is, he tells you on back of here to propagate the faith of the great prophet Ali. Let me say it right. Deriving his power and authority from Muhammad. In other words, it's unified in truth. You get power and authority through the unified truth, the universal truth, not the customary truth. In other words, not how you pray, but not the ritualistic prayer, but the essence of prayer. We're going to get into that in a minute too. But anyway, it says the great Quran of Muhammad to propagate the faith and extend the learning and the truth of the great prophet Ali in America. Prophet Noble Drew Ali is a unique prophet, independent to himself, but connected to the universal and ancient prophets of all times and climes. But we always want to validate the prophet with every other prophet. Muhammad never did that. Jesus never did that. All they did was they look at yesterday and they look at today and say that's the man, but they never tried to underscore the works of one prophet validated by a prior prophet and make the prior prophet supersede the prophet of their day. No, the people honored the uniqueness of that prophet, even though that prophet mentioned prophets of yesterday. And so when we look at Prophet Noble Drew Ali, when you're talking about Sufism and you talk about the nearest place to meet Allah is in the heart, and you talk about a fleshly heart, well, in our holy Quran, our divine record, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali never talks about Salat. He never talks about Salat. I say one more time. He never talks about Salat, the ritualistic prayer that Muslims do in the East. But what he does talk about more than anything in our Quran is meditation. In the 22nd chapter of religion, Prophet Noble Drew Ali say, "Oh, praise his goodness with song, thanksgiving, and meditation and silence on the wonders of his love." That's one, he's talking about meditation. Number two, and in chapter 12, talking about Jesus, in silent meditation, Jesus sat by the flowing spring. Now, in religion again, verse 20, but thee have endowed thee with reason. See, we're not using our reason to maintain thy dominion. He has fitted thee with language to improve thy society. He has exalted thy mind with meditation to contemplate and adore his immutable perfections. Meditation. So what should be happening, if you are a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America, the first thing that should be happening is the teacher should be teaching the essence of what it is to meditate, of going deep within yourself and communing with the divine of within. That's Moorish science and Islamism.
Thank you, Grand Sheik. Thank you for that.
I'll be talking fast because I'll be trying to get it all out.
Brother Asar L, are you ready for your closing 10-minute remarks?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It starts now.
Islam. I'm gonna have to sit down and teach my brother Taharka Bey about this Islam degree. That's my big brother, but I'm a teacher. So look, right, y'all. I knew about when I was talking about the Sufis and them having a prophet, right? I was actually referring to the Ahmadiyya movement, right? However, right, we have to understand that right now, today, they don't consider Ahmed to be a prophet no more. They don't. If you do not believe me, you have the head of the Sufi Islamic community here in North America. His name is Yahya, Imam Yahya, not Bashir, Imam Yahya. And them declares that Ahmed is simply a messenger. He's no longer a prophet. You have to go back to that original document, which the brother Taharka Bey showed y'all, to actually find out that he was originally considered a prophet in the Ahmadiyya community. Second point, brother Taharka Bey thinks that I'm talking about a fleshy heart. No, sir. Not what I'm saying. Let me break this down. When I point here, I'm talking about, you may think I'm talking about the fleshy brain, but within the brain is the mind. I took psychology when I went to college. It's the difference between a brain and a mind. One is fleshy, one is divine. You also have the heart. Again, I said if you study the science of neurology, if you study it, neurology, if you study the science of neurology, you will see that they refer to the heart as a second brain. That's why I said the science of neurology. And the brain, what makes up the brain is neurons. And I use the fact that what makes a brain is neurons. I have to study science, y'all. People study science. Science and religion marries each other. They're in a holy matrimony. You have to study both. The various forms of science, because we understand that the word science just means the study of or the observation of a thing, right? So we have to be particular when we say science, talking about the science of neurology. So the heart is made up of 40,000 neurons. The brain is made up of approximately between 85 to 86 million neurons. You get what I'm saying? So this is what actually helps you think. So when I said the heart, I'm not talking about the fleshy substance, and that's why I broke down the neurons. Neurons is not flesh. But this is what happens when you have a misconception of science. The prophet did say more science, temple of America, right? All right. And he broke down protoplasm, right? Yeah. And he broke down minerals, right? But see, this is what happened when we don't study science. I thought our ancestors were the founders of sciences, the different sciences and mathematics, etc. But let's go deeper, because I wasn't talking about the fleshy heart. Secondly, Brother Taharka Bey is comparing us to the modern day Sufis when I said our ancient ancestors who were originally the original Sufis. The original Sufis. The original. Because they practiced a mystic form of Islam. They studied the in-depths of Islam. They didn't just study the surface. They studied the great secrets of the great Quran, because it's secrets within these lessons. And our prophet taught us about, I wish I knew how to do the slide thing. Taharka Bey, you got to school me on this, man. You got to teach me how to do a slide thing. Next time, if you invite me, man, I'm going to do the slide thing. I'm new to this, man. You know, but yeah, I wish I could do the slide and put up my information. But not just that, I brought about the mirror boots. I brought up the mirror boots. This is why ones need to study the mirror boots, because now we're dealing with a particular group of people who identify with a particular religion in a particular geographical location. I said Morocco. Morocco is known as the land of the Moors. It was known as the capital of the Moorish Empire. Morocco, the root word for Morocco is Moro, Latin Spanish, M-O-R-O, Moro, which means Moor in Latin Greek. So I'm not talking about the modern day Sufis. I'm talking about the originals, the ancients. Let's go deeper. Fourth point, he's holding up the so-called modern day Arabic scholars, but in the Holy Quran of Mecca, Surah 9, Ayat 97, Prophet Muhammad said the desert Arabs are the worst of hypocrisy and deceit, and are the least to know what Allah revealed to his prophet. Wait, hold on. Let me repeat that. Surah 9, Ayat 97, in the Quran, it states that the desert Arabs are the worst in hypocrisy and deceit. We know what hypocrisy and deceit mean, right? They liars. They are deceptive. We call them desert Arab monkeys. No disrespect. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. We call them desert Arab monkeys. They are the worst. They sell us pork in our communities, right? Hypocrites. Liquor, cigarette, hypocrites. Fill on our women to see. All right. And are the least to know what Allah revealed to his message. So if they the least to know, why would I be holding them up? Why would I turn my head to them when it comes to information about Islam? Their own book is anti-Arab. Their own book is anti-Arabic, y'all. The Holy Quran is anti-Arabic. Sheikh Asar Sadio said it. It's anti-Arabic. They are the least to know. Why is my brother Taharka Bey citing them? They don't know nothing according to their own book. So I don't care what an Arab desert monkey say about Islam and you know what their concept is. That ain't true Islam. Even the prophet said that the Islam that you had, y'all look this up. The court case between Sati Majid versus Prophet Noble Drali. Look up that historical document. It's a court case. You could download the free PDF file, y'all. And Prophet Noble Drali declared to Sati Majid, the Islam that you have is not true Islam. It is a hocus pocus. It's a poof. Look it up. I'm not making this up. Fifth point. I agree with my brother, Grand Sheikh Taharka Bey, that What is Islam was written by John Gibbon Zeal, who declared himself to be bro prophet, even though his wife didn't call him brother prophet. She called him her husband, John Gibbon Zeal. She never referred to him as prophet, Noble Drew Ali, or brother prophet. And I learned that from my elder, even though I'm no longer under Supreme Grand Sheikh Ras Adiel. I honor that brother for teaching me, even though I'm no longer under Rasul Hassan Bey Grand Sheikh. I honor that brother. I learned from Taharka Bey, y'all. Grand Sheikh, I call him Grand Sheikh Taharka Bey because that's his title. I learned from him. He's one of my elders. Listen, that don't mean I have to agree with everything my elders say, though. That don't mean that, because I have my own mind and I know how to think for self. I know how to effectively think. You get what I'm saying? But I learned from elders who sat with John Gibbon Zeal's wife. And again, I give honors to my elders. Again, I love each and every one of y'all, including Grand Sheikh Taharka Bey. I just know how to think for self. John Gibbon's ill wife did not refer to him as brother prophet. In that article, What is Islam? Brother Taharka Bey stated facts. It was in the Moorish Guide newspaper first. But what he didn't tell y'all is this. He wrote that article during the lifetime of our actual prophet, Noble Drew Ali. He wrote that article. Secondly, in order for it to even go in the article, it had to be approved by the prophet. So rather if the prophet wrote it or not, and he didn't, it still was approved by the prophet. So if it was approved by the prophet, it meant then a brother had to be citing some correct information. He had to be saying something, you know what I'm saying, that was true in order to get approved. So, I mean, hey, I'm gonna yield the rest of my time, my few little seconds. Islam.
All right, brother Ashir L. Thank you for your time. I appreciate that. Grand Sheikh, now are you ready for your 10-minute closing remarks?
Yes, I keep turning my mic off. My bad. Yeah, I'm ready.
Your time starts now.
So, brother, let me inform you. This was not written by the reincarnated prophet. This is a compilation. So again, brother, I'm sorry, but you're reaching. This is the Moorish literature was not written by Prophet Noble Drew Ali or the reincarnated prophet. The Moorish literature is a compilation of articles from the Moorish Guide. Let's be clear on that. That was first compiled by the brother John Gibbons L., who called himself the reincarnated prophet. He compiled the Moorish Guide, and Kirkman Bey gave his twist on the same thing. He didn't write it. Now, one of the things that came out of the Moorish Guide was, as I said a minute ago, the sunrise, the Muslim sunrise, the article about what is Islam, that came out of the Moorish Guide. And it was submitted by Prophet Noble Drew Ali, not written by Prophet Noble Drew Ali or John Gibbons L. That's what I'm trying to say. We be talking too fast and we be missing the blessing. Again, let me share it real quick. This was not written. This was not written by the prophet or John Gibbons L. This was submitted to the Moorish Guide by Prophet Noble Drew Ali, born in the state of North Carolina, 1886. In the Moorish Guide newspaper, in the 30s, John Gibbons L. came along and took the Moorish Guide and compiled articles, what ultimately became the Moorish literature. That's number one. All right. So you need to get that part straight first. Now, secondly, let's move on to these other things. When you start talking about the Moorish Science Temple of America is a Sufi organization, what you're doing is you're denying Prophet Noble Drew Ali as being a prophet. and you don't even know that you're doing it. And this is why. Prophet Noble Drew Ali had over 30,000 subscribed card-carrying members. Not one member ever uttered the term Sufi, not even in trying to interpret the prophet's teachings as Sufism. Not one of them. Out of 30,000, not one of them seen it your way. Secondly, not one of them during the time of the prophet that we can see made ritualistic salat as we see Eastern Sunni Muslims does. So we can only, out of 30,000, so we can only surmise what is the essence of prayer. Going deep within and communing with the God within. Not one. We have no examples. During the time of Ramadan of February 1929, you don't see anybody acknowledging the month of Ramadan. Out of 30,000. Not one. You can't find it nowhere. Not one. 15 temples, 30,000 card-carrying members, and not one utter the term Ramadan, not one utter the term Sufi, not one utter the term. The Moorish Science Temple of America is a unique school of thought. It's a unique school of thought, but it's connected to the school of thoughts that came before it, but it's not it. It's the expression as taught by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. It's in essence the same thing, but it's not expressed in the same way, nor is it the language is expressed to identify it identical with anything of the East. Yet the practices and the principles, if demonstrated properly in the East, they coincide with each other. But the language will never overlap. This is English, and Arabic cannot be translated. They will never overlap. This is why Prophet Noble Drew Ali is unique. Is unique because he's an American-born prophet that speaks the English language, and he's able to codify the divine message in the language that we dream in. And this is how merciful the universal creator is. This is how merciful the ancestors are. When our people was crying out for help, when our people was crying out for a savior and somebody to come and pull us out of this condition, the prayers was answered from them fields. And so what I'm saying, his native tongue, the tongue that he dreamed in, he's able to codify the divine message in that native tongue. But people doubt that because the native tongue is an English tongue that we attributed to Europeans. But you got to know that the Europeans only learn language from us, and English is only a variation of our dialects and languages. So a divine prophet is able to codify the message in that. And so now when we talk about Sufism, we have to be careful. We have to be careful calling Prophet Noble Drew Ali teaching some Sufism, because let me tell you something. Whether people that study Sufism or the Western form of Islam or not, it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me, because I'm going to tell you, in the back of this Quran, the last chapter, the fulfilling of the prophecies, it says the last prophet in these days are Noble Drew Ali, who was prepared divinely in due time by Allah. He didn't join no Sufi order. The Allah within unfolded way before his feet touched the earth, to redeem men from their sinful ways and to warn them of the great wrath which is sure to come. Then it goes on to say, John the Baptist was the forerunner of Jesus in those days, to warn, to stir up the nation, to prepare them to receive the divine creed, which was to be taught by Jesus. In these modern days, there came a forerunner who was divinely prepared by the great God Allah, and his name was Marcus Garvey. Now, I don't care if don't nobody understand those concepts at this point. I can explain it at a later date. But now let's get to the prophet. It said, who did teach and warn the nations of the earth to prepare to meet the coming prophet, who was to bring the true and divine creed of Islam. That would imply that those that was teaching before him, whether it be Sufi, whether it be Sunni, whether it be Shiite, they had gotten off the path of the true and divine creed. And here comes the reformer teaching it in the form called Islamism. Listen to the implication. Noble Drew Ali, who was prepared and sent to this earth. In other words, he was prepared. He was prepared before he was even born. He was prepared on high. Then we up in there now. We up in there now. Listen to what I'm saying. Who was to bring the true and divine creed of Islam. And his name was Noble Drew Ali, who was prepared and sent to this earth by Allah. So what I'm saying is that when we think that the prophet has to be taught, have to repeat, have to wash and recycle something over there in the East, as if Allah can't stir up the heart way before we are manifested in the flesh, then we didn't miss the point. We didn't miss the point. Prophet Noble Drew Ali was born on the divine square, brother. He didn't teach no Sufi. He taught his expression. That's why he said to propagate the faith of the great prophet Ali in America. He brought his expression, and he was bold when he did it. That's why he used terms like Father Allah. That's why he say man will unfold to deific life and become the flesh and blood of Allah. See, you talk that stuff like that in the East, you know you're going to have an issue. You know you're going to have an issue. But what I'm telling you, Prophet Noble Drew Ali boldly said it, that you can manifest. You know what that means, manifest into the flesh and blood of Allah? I don't want nobody to get no spooky. What that means is manifest into the flesh and blood of Allah. That means your energy has unfolded and it vibrate at a higher rate so high that even your flesh become a part of the divine spirit experience. And you can learn that through contemplation and meditation. The prophets say, if you want to learn, if you want to know the omnipotence of Allah, contemplate thine frame. We want to go through all these rituals, all these other orders, all these other things, instead of listening to the basics. Listening to the basics. We study everything except what the prophet brought us. We got a command on all these other books, but we don't have a command on what the prophet said. We have to get a command on what Prophet Noble Drew Ali said if you want to walk into the divine. You know what I'm saying? Walk into the divine. Contemplate that flame. You know what it say? And understand the omnipotence of Allah. Omnipotence means unlimited power. You can find that just following the Prophet Noble Drew Ali's lesson.
All right, Islam. So now that concludes the framework of our show criteria. Grand Sheik and Asir, I want to congratulate you both on a great dialogue or debate for today in regards to the topic of what is the Moorish Scientific of America and what is or what are the practices of a Moorish American Muslim or Moorish American Muslims. Are we going to take any questions in the chat, Grand Sheik, or what are we going to do?
I will leave that up to my brother Sheik Asar Sadiel if he want to take some questions.
Islam, man. No, I'm at home with the family. I'm here. Moorish World TV.
Hey, brother, you know both of us are passionate about this thing.
No, Mo, listen. No, hold up. Hey, can I say something real quick before we do the Q&A?
Yeah, while he's doing that, family, put some questions in there. Ask us some questions. Let's see what we can do for the next at least 15 minutes.
All right, so listen, right, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all something, right? About me, right? Like, so I know how it is to be passionate. I never take that. I'm passionate. As you see, my fire got the lighting up too. I'm the same way. And like the comment sections, I love them. You know what I'm saying? Like that's family down there in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? I know that they tried to distract me and all that ain't gonna work, man. I love y'all too much in the comments. Just know that CK Star love y'all. But at this moment, yeah, let's do a Q&A, man. Let's take some questions, man.
And I say this, family, if you are in an organization, especially if you are a member of any Moorish Science Temple of America, one of the things that should be happening is understanding the benefits of contemplating our frames of meditation. Every Friday, I demonstrate about bringing out the Allah. That's my theme. That's my whole theme. I got a lot of flack and to a point from your former leader. They jumped on me when I said that we gonna metamorphose into the flesh and blood of Allah. Him and his wife. That's sharp. They went crazy. And that's in our Quran. They went crazy. So let me see. Somebody says all temples and tribes are subordinate to Washita. No, that's not true. Nobody's subordinate to Washita. What you talking about?
Yeah.
Prophet never created a Washita. We're talking about the Moorish side temple of America. Somebody asked, how often do you meditate?
Yes. Islam. So thank you for that question too, right? Let's keep the questions going. Let's interact with one another, y'all. Right? We family, right? It ain't no hard feelings. Ask questions. So to answer that question, how often do I meditate? Every day. Every day I push pause in my life to meditate and do deep concentration breathing exercises, right? Because we know that spirit derives from the root word spiritus, which means lungs, breath, right? So we have to control our breathing. If you pay attention to how we breathe today, we breathe like we out of breath and we could just be sitting still. You know what I'm saying? No, we have to control our breathing. When you control the breathing, you control the spirit, control that holy breath within you. Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. God put his breath in man and he became a living soul. You have to control your spirit. Meditate, control your thoughts. The prophets say, Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. We must also protect our thoughts, guard our thoughts, y'all. And that comes from meditation. Before I pray, I like to meditate. I love to meditate before prayer. I don't like to just go into prayer like just to land my plane. I do industrial work. So sometimes I may have to leave my work site. Leave from the work area and just do my prayer and hurry up, come back because I have to supervise others. But whenever I'm home in the confinements of my home or I'm in my vehicle, I actually like to pull over and meditate before prayer. That's important to me. So
well, let me answer. I meditate every morning before I get up. While nothing is moving, while everything is still, I'm manifesting something. And I'm manifesting some things every day, every single day. It's a strong meditation too. Everything is still. I don't move until I make sure I make that connection. So with that being said, somebody said, my brother C Mac says, I've been a Moor since 1999 and never joined a temple. Let me advise you, brother C Mac. You have always been a Moor if you understand what a Moor is. And a Moor don't necessarily have to join a temple. You know what I'm saying? But now, if you want to understand what it is to be a Moorish American Muslim or a Moorish American period, then I would implore you to get with some people that's educated on the process that Prophet Noble Drew Ali has laid down in proclaiming nationality. But a Moor, you know what I mean? There's all Moors everywhere, you know, like Moors are born, not made in reality. But you don't have to join a temple to be a Moor, you know what I mean? All types of Moors. You got Christian Moors, you got Hebrew Moors, you got all sorts of Moors. But to be a Moorish American Muslim or to be to understand what nationality and Moorish American is all about, then Prophet Noble Drew Ali is the measuring stick on what that is. And you can't learn that from nowhere else. You know what I mean? All this stuff on the internet, if it's not measured by what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali teach, it is suspect. And that's why I go straight to what the prophet says. Let me see. Somebody said, nice build. Let me see. Somebody asked, do Brother Asar believe Drew Ali is a prophet and an angel?
Islam. I don't just believe that he's a prophet and an angel. I know that he is a prophet and an angel of Almighty Allah because he stated that he's a prophet. And in Key 40 in our Moorish questionnaire, he stated that he's an angel of Allah. To us, Moorish American Muslims, we don't assert our doctrine, our beliefs on one's not on this particular path, but that is why our holy and divine prophet Noble Drew Ali declared in Key 40, what is our prophet to us? Not y'all, not anybody, to us. He is an angel of Allah who was sent to bring us the everlasting gospel of Allah. I recognize the Prophet Noble Drew Ali as both. Islam.
Islam. That's a perfect answer. I like that. That's the type of answer I like give to us. I mean, you ain't got to see it, but I see it. With that being said, PNF Publications, he asked, and I'll answer this. How do Moorish American feel about react to Marcus Sanders calling Noble Drew Ali a pedophile and the MSTA? Should we file a suit? This is the thing. This is where the rubber meets the road with the first opening of this conversation. When one is saying that they're the Moorish Science Temple of America, they have the power to file suit because they are a corporation. You know what I'm saying? A freestyle person that says I'm a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America and it's just a religious organization and it's not a corporation, then you only can file it as an individual, but not as an organization. Because the organization, corporations have the power to sue and be sued. Everybody know that. But if you are not a part of a legitimate corporation called the Moorish Science Temple of America, you don't have the power to sue. Braswell Bey found that out the hard way. He found that out the hard way. Braswell Bey, he thought that he had some authority. And he went to the Secretary of State in Chicago and said, you know what? We are the Moorish Science Temple of America. He said, well, show and prove. He could not show and prove. And those who had the 501c3 under Kirkman Bey made him look like a fool. They showed that they paperwork and they say, show me yours. And he ain't had nothing. And the Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated put that joint on the table and on the internet and said, look at this crazy fool talking about he got some authority. Well, the Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated represent the 501c3 portion of the Moorish Science Temple of Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated. They represent that. And it's a 501c3. 501c3 was created in the 80s, I think 86, but don't quote me on that. What we represent under our administration, which I am the Grand Sheikh and chairman of, we represent the incorporation that Prophet Noble Drew Ali established, and we have the legal documents to prove it. We are established as the Moorish Science Temple of America in the county of Cook in Chicago, and we have the legal documents to prove it. We are not a 501c3. We will never be a 501c3. We are a religious corporation. We are a religious society, and we are a body politic according to Herzlibad statute and that which we are filed under. So we can go after him. Or somebody said 1954. Thank you, PF Publications. 1954. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. So we could, if we wanted to, for slander. We could, if we wanted to, for slander. Yet, the whole thing in a nutshell is that even me going after him for calling me a sex offender, you have to know that it's a little ticket that comes with that. It's not like you just file small claims. You know what I'm saying? So in going after him, calling me a sex offender, which I am, I don't want to put it all out there, but brother, I'll answer your question like this. In order to sue, you have to be a legal, lawful corporation. Other than that, you have to sue as an individual. So yes, we actually could sue because we are a legal, lawful corporation known, recognized in the county of Cook as the Moorish Science Temple of America, signed off by the county of Cook, minutes to prove that we've been in existence from the time that we have been accepted by the county of Cook in the recorder's office. Islam.
May I please tackle that question too?
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Islam. So I want to say that I've read a lot of things that people said that Marcus Garvey stated, right? I don't know if y'all talking about Marcus Garvey, his son, the brother with the locks, but the Marcus Garvey that's the forerunner of the prophet did not say that. Right. And I'm based, my premises for that will be on comparative studies and research. Right. We know for a fact, and there's some Moors who disagree with me, but I have the newspaper article. Prophet Noble Drew Ali visited Marcus Garvey at a particular time in the year 1927. Now you may hear people say, well, Marcus Garvey stated he didn't know Noble Drew Ali. Look at the dates on that. You have to compare the dates, because at the time with Marcus Garvey, and I'm using this as a side note, at the time when Marcus Garvey made that statement, that was before Prophet Noble Drew Ali went to go visit him in the federal prison in Atlanta, Georgia. But when he went to go visit him, the news reporter had declared in a news article that Marcus Garvey was very pleased with the splendid work being done by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali in a more sensible America, right? So, and then like I have books, Marcus Garvey books on Marcus Garvey, Negro with a Hat, The Rise and Fall of Marcus Garvey. I also have the philosophies and opinions of Marcus Garvey. Based on my studies and research, Marcus Garvey was a man of high moral principles and ethical standards. My conclusion is Marcus Garvey wouldn't have made that statement on a man that hasn't been convicted of being a sex offender. Prophet Noble Drew Ali has never been convicted of that. We do know that COINTELPROJECT duty is to slander and take down our leaders. I mean, look at what people are trying to do to my good brother Taharka Bey. Whenever you are a fearsome leader, you're going to have your own people try to take you down on behalf of the European. But I don't believe that Marcus Garvey stated that. I believe somebody inserted that and colored it in like he said that. Marcus Garvey had great respect for Prophet Noble Drew Ali. In fact, you had Moors in the UNIA. You had Moors, Hebrews, etc. all in the UNIA. It's no way possible that Marcus Garvey would have made that. So it's no, and Prophet Noble Drew Ali referred to him as his forerunner. It's no way possible. You know, and Marcus Garvey got deported in 1927. He was told never to step foot in America again. He died in England of a stroke. He had 2 strokes. I don't believe that. I yield. Thank
you. Yeah. You hold on. Like, I'm gonna tell you about me, man. I don't really get in those type of arguments. I would rather sit down and go toe to toe with somebody on a debate with that argument, because I'm gonna let the date show and prove. I ain't even gonna validate that argument. Like, step up and talk it. I mean, and I look at timelines and I go with that, but whatever the case may be.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. I'm saying that the guys don't realize these. Okay, do you think? I think this is for you, brother Asar. Do you think? And we'll take 2 more and then we're out of here.
Yes, sir.
Because we got to prepare to meditate.
Yes, sir.
My brother, I think this is, do you think he brought everything it takes to save a nation? And do we have to borrow other ideals such as Sufism? In other words, is Islamism, the old-time religion, sufficient?
All right, so to answer your question, Prophet Noble Drew Ali did bring everything it takes to save a nation. He brought us a divine constitution and bylaws. You know, he brought us the general laws, the supreme laws, etc. That's everything that covers, you know, a political concept. He brought us an economic plan, right? He told us that until we have a grand treasurer, we're not a nation. So he brought us the economic plan as well as the political. Then he brought us our spiritual salvation, right? When he brought us our religion, right? So of course he brought us everything it takes to save a nation. He brought us our own book. He brought us our own book, and all these other books we deem to be slaves. In the Bible and the Quran, we deem to be slaves. So he brought us a book that goes beyond slavery. We could look at the days we were kings and queens and pharaohs and prince and princesses, etc. Right? So yes, he brought us everything it takes to save a nation. What we do have to realize is that all prophets declared that they were one with not just the Father God Allah, but also they were one in spirit. All prophets carry that same spirit of the first man.
can I say something, brother? But do you, because this goes into the same question. He said, how does Sufism fit into the MSTA? Where did it come from? But Sufism is just another expression of Islam. Why can't Islamism be unique into itself as an expression of Islam? Sufism is an expression of Islam. Ahmadiyya is an expression of Islam. In China, they express it another way. In Egypt, they express it in a way. Like, why we got to adopt this Eastern persuasion when we got a prophet?
Islam, Taharka Bey. May I just say something real quick?
Yeah.
To Saluddin Muhammad Bey in the comment section, right? I know who sent you, right? And just hear me out. Taharka Bey, may I please get permission to say something?
He said, hold on.
Taharka Bey, I know what this is.
Who is Saluddin Muhammad Bey, though?
Can I get permission?
He said, can all you brothers give a lineage? Why don't he hit the link? If it's that serious, let him hit the link.
All right, but listen, right? Hold on. This is what I'm talking about real quick, right? For some reason, whenever Moorish brothers get together to build, you have somebody else sitting in the background, and instead of them coming, they send you, right? To bring about disruption to a panel, a platform, a positive.
Well, let's ignore it then. Let's ignore because our moderator.
Yeah, like, come on, man. Stop that. Because I was a part of that organization, Saluddin. Stop that, man. Because you know me in real life. Stop, man.
Don't worry about it. We won't want to belabor the host. But let me say this. I want to speak on this, and then we'll get out here, and then we'll give our salutations and keep it moving. I think Oman Bey says, speak on how he went to D.C. and bring the flag of Morocco before the kingdom got it back from the French. That's a lie, brother. The Prophet Noble Ali didn't go to D.C. and get no flag of Morocco. The Prophet never referred to our flag as the flag of Morocco. The Prophet asked the question in our Moorish questionnaire, apology, and our Moorish questionnaire. And the question is very simple. It's very simple and straight to the point. It says, what kind of flag is the Moorish? He never mentioned a Moroccan flag. It is a red flag with a 5-pointed green star in the center. Bam. That's what you see behind me. That is not a Moroccan flag. A Moroccan flag has a certain description that is not exactly descriptive of what a Moorish flag is. It's not the same thing. So you got to be clear when you talk about a Moroccan flag and a Moorish flag. And I give you the example. The Moroccan flag, the star is a little bit smaller and it's bordered by black lines. The original Moorish flag, which was a flag of a conglomerate, was a flag of an empire that was raised over many nations, has a big star in a red field. And then the Moroccan flag, it represents the star. They tell you what it represents. It represents the star of what's his name? What's King David's son name? Solomon. The star of Solomon. They say it represents the star of Solomon. Yeah. And the 5 points represent the 5 pillars of Islam. That's what they say. That's what they say. That's their interpretation of the flag. If you look at the questionnaire, the Prophet tells you, what do the 5 points represent? Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. How is our flag? It's over 10,000 years old. What is the Prophet saying? Did a flag exist over 10,000 years old in the material sense? Well, we can't say yay or nay, but what we can say is that our nation and our principles that is embedded in that flag that you see today is over 10,000 years old. So it's a metaphor, but the actual Moorish flag and the Moroccan flag are different. And when people continue to say that the Moroccan flag and the Moorish flag is the same, I'm going to tell you something that I've noticed. The Moroccan government is a small government. And I'm noticing that since the Moors have been coming to the surface, now the Moroccan government has adjusted their flag at least 3 times in the last 20 years. So it can be confusing of whose flag. But that's the Moorish flag, not the Moroccan.
Taharka Bey, check your messenger, Grancy. Check your message. Your messenger real quick.
My brother, can you give us a salutation so we can get out of here? Because I don't want Sister Daisha Bey. I don't want Sister Daisha Bey to call my line, and that's my brother wife, Grand Sheik. You too long with the Grand Sheik. You and that brother Asar, brother, Islam Grand Sheik. We don't want that.
Hey, I want to say this, right? But in closing, right? I really enjoyed this dialogue. This is actually called the meetings of the mind, where you have an elder Moor, right, who's been doing this before me, right, meeting with a young Moorish mind, right, and it's okay for us to express our views, our perspectives. I don't care about the disagreements. I'm far beyond that. This is for educational purposes. This is for y'all and the viewers to take and to assess and come up with your own conclusion, right? But I love all of y'all. I thank my brother Taharka Bey for allowing me to be on this platform. My brother, I can't remember your name, and I'm sorry. Please forgive me. But I thank the moderator.
Yeah, brother Montezuma Yakama Bey.
Islam, brother Islam. And I appreciate you. You done a phenomenal job. And to the moderators in the comment section, Islam to y'all. Y'all have done a phenomenal job. I love all y'all. Islam.
Islam family, and thank you for joining us, man. I really appreciate that, and I hope that we and I'm gonna try not to yell and get so passionate. I'm gonna try to get more diplomatic with a sound like a bootleg preacher. I know I'm just get so excited. But with that being said, man, I thank y'all for joining us today, and I hope that we can have many more of these conversations. I know me and my brother Asar will have many more of these conversations
on the phone.
I'm gonna teach you how to screen share. That's what I'm gonna do. Your day off. I'm gonna teach you how to screen share. I thought you knew because you was on Sinetta.
I didn't even have. If you notice, I didn't screen share there. He wanted me to.
Bro, you can't be official if you can't screen share.
I know. I don't.
I thought you. Okay, I got you, brother. I got you. Brother.
Thank you, more. Thank you.
So with that being said, I want to yield the floor to our Adat. He got one of these. Well, I didn't send him this one yet, did I? No, he misplaced. Oh, that's right. At the airport. No, I'm just playing. But he got one of these. He's an adept of the Moorish Science Temple of America. My brother, Montezuma Bey. Brother, close us out, brother, and I'm going to shut it down.
Well, congratulations once again. Everybody did a marvelous job. It's a beautiful pleasure to be on Moorish World TV 7 once again. I am looking forward to moderating again. Brother Asar, I look forward to hearing more from you. I'm 29 years old, brother. I met the Prophet Noble at the age of 12. And so, I definitely understand being of a young mind. We got a lot of things to discuss and build on, brother. We got farming to talk about. We got products to make. We got children to make.
Hey, bro, can I just cut in real quick? Hey, bro, Asar, do you realize that we were in our class? I was teaching earlier today from, what was it? We was in class from 2:30. Was it 2:30? All the way up to 5:30, close to 6. We was rolling. You know what I mean? And then I stopped for a minute. I come back in. And then I just wanted to underscore this, Montezuma Bey. Most people would say, when you going to teach Moorish science? Bro, we in that class teaching today.
Going down through there.
Yeah, and we do it. We do it every week. Every week we teach hard. If I'm not teaching, we got another sheik in there teaching. Montezuma Bey will be teaching. Him and his wife will be teaching soon. So if anybody interested, all you got to do is send an email to joynoblетemples@gmail.com, and you can come sit in the class, participate in the class. And even if you have a lesson that you want to teach us, we are that liberal. We want to hear it. But now don't get checked at the end. No, it's not. But y'all, Montezuma Bey, thank you, bro. Anything else you want to say?
Honest to his prophet, Noble Ali.
Islam. So, family, thanks again. We up out of here. I'm about to put, I got to say one more thing. I'm about to upload a video about the Moorish New Year because that's another farce, and I did a whole presentation on it. I'll be uploading that in the next 10 minutes. It'll be live. If you ain't got nothing to do, people running around talking about Happy Moorish New Year, Happy Moorish New Year's. That's a farce, and I'm going to upload it in the next 10 minutes, and it'll be live once it's uploaded. So Islam, peace and love, family. I'm the more you're going to remember. I don't know what the song gonna be. I don't know what Montezuma Bey gonna be, but I'm gonna be the more you gonna remember.
That's right.
It's love.
Islam.
Islam, family. That's right. That's right. Let me get out of here.
I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember. I be that more you gon' remember. Taharka Bey front line till the law call my number. I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember. That's right. I be that more you gon' remember. Taharka Bey front line till the law call my number. You a friend of the Moors, then you a friend of mine. I was told to watch my enemies, now hold my line. Those that speak against the prophet, they speak against me. And I'm speaking about the prophet over Drew Ali, who was the first to remind you and bind you back to Morocco, the mountains, Mississippi, and Quebec. Told you you wasn't black, proved it with straight facts. You tripping off trucks, you need to be tripping off that. Now here we go again, acting like you a slave. Family, see y'all tonight, 9:30. Let's go. I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember. I be that more you gon' remember. Taharka Bey front line till the law call my number.